Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight in the Filmmaker interviews for the Garden State Film Festival. My name is Mike Cassidy, and I am one of the Filmmaker hosts here. We will be celebrating our 24th annual festival from March 26th to the 29th across 9 venues in Asbury Park and Branford, New Jersey, with over 200 films from various different countries. I have the pleasure of speaking with one of those filmmakers, McIntosh, directed and written by Stephen Hayet, Rob Graydon, and Giselle Muse. I'm so sorry that I stuttered right there, guys. Thank you for joining me. How's it going?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you
All
for having
right.
us.
Cool. All right. So, yeah, I just wanted to introduce everybody to you. Rob, you are the editor, director, and animator. No, you are the director.
Editor and animator.
Right.
Yes.
And Giselle, you got to star in the film.
Yes, alongside my co-star, who's not with us today.
Gotcha. Okay. You want to give him a shout out real quick?
Actually, her name is Naja,
Sorry, I thought.
and she voiced Carrie, and I voiced Stacy in the piece.
Was Carrie the one in the tree?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. I want to make sure I had that right. Awesome. So I think we should just dive right in. If you guys would like to go around, introduce yourselves, explain your role in the film and how it came to be. If you want to, Rob, you want to go ahead first?
Sure, yes. My name is Rob Graydon. I'm the animator for McIntosh. I was approached by Stephen and the producer, Gina Rodriguez. And sure, they sent me a script. I really liked it. We ended up recording the voices first, which is what you do when you're animating. And from there, I created sort of like a animatic for them to see, and then animated it from that point forward. It was a tremendous amount of fun to do, and not always easy, but more of it is a challenge more than it was hard, I should say.
I don't think I could ever do animation. I just have no idea. I can't even edit my photos on my phone.
It's a lot of patience and a lot of never forgetting where you are in one given moment.
I have no patience, and I sometimes don't know where I'm at any given moment. I know I'm home now, but awesome. Giselle, would you like to go next?
Sure. So, as you mentioned, I'm Giselle Muse. I was the voice of Stacy in McIntosh. And similarly, I was reached out to by Steve Hayet. And Steve and I met during COVID and have become, I would imagine, lifelong friends. Like, we were always checking in. And it's just, he's someone whose work I always trust. And it was easy for me to say yes when he invited me to do it.
That's awesome. Steven, would you like to go?
Yeah, so I'm Stephen Hayet, and I'm the writer-director of McIntosh. Outside the film world, I'm a playwright, and McIntosh actually started as a short one-minute play. And it's been performed by student groups and community theaters and schools all over the world. And I had always wanted to do an animated film. I always thought there's something fun about this and a world I just wanted to be a part of. And Gina is one of my good friends. She's the producer on this. He's one of those people who goes, how can I make this happen? So we reached out, we got connected with Rob. Rob, having done some work on Sesame Street, thought it would be a great fit for this story about someone where there's no small parts and everyone matters. And for Giselle, it's fun that we're doing this interview now because Giselle and I first met on Zoom during the pandemic, when we were connected through virtual theater, when we couldn't be in the same room, but we could be in the same Zoom space doing plays. So bringing together a team of artists and people who I just thought would be fun to work with, really good people who just like to be creative and collaborate and care and telling a story that was about positivity and making the most out of a situation.
I totally agree. I like to just there's nothing better than making movies with your friends, in my experience. If you wanted to, so it's the Wizard of Oz adjacent.
Yes.
If you wanted to share a little bit about the plot for everybody watching.
Sure. So the premise of this turn film, is that we have two students, theater kids in school, like I was, who are looking at the cast list for the show and they're comparing their parts. And one is cast as Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and the other is the tree, which is always kind of the metaphor for the ensemble role, the underappreciated ensemble role. Oh, I got to play the tree. But the character who plays the tree, Carrie, is so excited by it because of the role that the tree plays in this story. That even though it's only on for a few pages, they're just such a fundamental part of Dorothy's journey to the Emerald City. So it's just, I want to have a fun take at a character that's often overlooked and about how everyone contributes to the story.
I thought you guys nailed that for sure. I really enjoyed watching your film. We can talk about the animation. I had a question.
Sure.
What was the inspiration behind that style? Because when I was watching it, I felt like it was very like, I'm gonna date myself, like Club Penguin animated, like it looked. And I mean that as a very huge compliment because I loved how it looked. Am I off base there, or did that?
I didn't necessarily use Club Penguin as the source, but
Yes.
I can see what you're talking about. For me, I sort of wanted it. I primarily wanted to be colorful, for one thing, and I wanted and we went through a bunch of different character designs, even one that I think we ultimately landed on. But when I started animating it, they didn't seem as expressive as I thought they would be, and so I, sort of not mid animation, but between the animatics and the animation, I just sort of changed their eyes more so that they're like with Giselle's character, her eyes became her glasses, so her glasses filled up her entire eyes, which gave her this great look. I always wanted, and the same thing with Carrie's character. I wanted her to have always a sense of self, and I wanted her to have a sense of who she was, and never ever once doubt or ever not be confident in any way. And her design changed slightly to reflect that as well, and even just the way I would animate their expressions on their faces, and Carrie always had a lot of like half closed eyes, and her eyes were slightly down, so it always looked sort of condescending whenever she spoke. But Carrie never did that. Her eyes are always open and always and just let the whole world in whenever she was talking.
That's interesting. I think I missed that when I was watching it, but now I'm for sure gonna have to go back and watch again. I wanted to ask. So, also full disclosure, I probably should have started with this. I have not been keeping up to date with Wizard of Oz stuff. I've never seen Wicked, part 1 or 2. I never saw it in the play. I was so scared of The Witch and the Flying Monkeys, I would hide our DVD because I didn't want to watch it. So forgive my ignorance. McIntosh.
You weren't ready for a redemption arc for the Wicked Witch of the West. You were like, I'm still too scared.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think she deserves one, honestly, in my opinion, for what she did to me specifically. So I am. Is McIntosh like a legit character in the films, and he's a tree? I feel like that's a dumb question.
There's during the Wizard of Oz, on Dorothy's quest down the Yellow Brick Road, she meets an apple tree and comes across an apple tree and tries to. She's hungry and takes some apples, and the trees are not too happy about it, and they end up throwing apples at her, and she's finally able to get food and move on with her quest. But it's a very small, usually bit role when you're doing the play. It's usually there's 2 trees, and it's a fun role for ensembles to have ensemble members to have their moment. But it's a very, very small part, and they're usually just in the script listed as tree number 1, tree number 2. The idea of giving the character name is something that the character Carrie has when she's on her journey of discovery for research for the role, but usually it's just an ensemble member in the play or in the movie who plays that.
I'm gonna have to. That's the scene in the original where they hit her with the branches, right?
It's pretty early on in Oz. I think it's between the Scarecrow and the Tin Man.
Gotcha. It's all coming back to me now, and I'm not gonna be able to sleep with those monkeys in my head. Go ahead. Sorry if someone was getting interrupted. Giselle, what was it like for you working and being a part of this film?
Well, I've only ever done one other voiceover project, and it was all done over Zoom, like very much pandemic time. We were all kind of trying everything. And we were all in someone's apartment, all together and recording, and Rob was there and Steve was there, and folks would come in and out, and we got like live direction. It's just, and I mean, similar to Steve has written so many plays. I'm very much a theater girl, and to have the energy all in the room together made it extra special, I think.
Yeah. Usually, when you make recordings for animation, they're always separate. And I thought it was really important for Naja and Giselle to be in the same room at the same time, so they had a real sort of chemistry together. That you don't normally. You could get it if you're recording separately because you have like guide tracks and things like that. But just to have them in the same room at the same time, I thought was a real bit of magic.
And we were very fortunate that Michelle and Daniel, who did our sound design and some of the editing the audio, who I've worked with on other projects, they do Twitch streaming and record podcasts. So in one room, they had the mic set up and were able to rig a video village in the other room so that Rob and I could watch on a screen and listen to Giselle and Naja record from just a room over without us able to get a good sound recording too. And so we were very lucky that we had friends that are passionate and skilled at being able to record and do all that so we could get everyone in the same room. And that they too have a very well-behaved dog that didn't bark during any of the takes.
Oh, is he going to be able to make an appearance? It's a different dog.
If she comes in, I'll grab her, but she's really sleeping right now.
Of course, yeah, we don't want to ruin that for her. I agree. I feel like I could feel the chemistry between you guys through the screen. We're talking about the dog, and I had a question after one of the lines. Do they actually say that Dorothy will have to eat Toto?
Never.
Never? No?
Dorothy,
Okay.
Dorothy would literally... you might have had your eyes closed at the end, but she actually melts the Wicked Witch of the West because the witch goes after Toto. Like, Toto is the most important person in her life. So the idea that, like, Dorothy's choice is if she can't get past this apple tree, it's either starve or eat her dog are the two worst choices in Dorothy's life, just for that humorous, dramatic effect. And I was lucky that my wife, who's always my biggest champion and supporter, I want to give her a part in this in some way. So she actually provided the little barks for Toto as well.
Wow. That's awesome. I wanted to get this before we ran out of time. With everyone. The line that struck me the most from your film was, I believe may have been the last line where they said, "Everyone has a name," and that just like, as soon as I heard that, it like rocked me, and it was just like, I thought it was very powerful. That it's like everyone has their own story, even tree number 1 and tree number 2, like everyone has a name. And I was wondering how you guys came up with that line. What was that like?
I guess I could take this one. For me, as a writer, and it helps that my wife Lucy is an actress, because often when you're a writer, you're thinking of like the chessboard and all the pieces. And when she would read my work, she would be like, "Why is this character doing this? And I'd be like, "Because they need to get from point A to B." And she'll go, "No, but they never do this. This doesn't make sense." So it really helped me as a writer looking at a story from each of the characters in it and the parts they play, and whether they're the lead or a random ensemble member or a background actor, there's a reason everyone is there. And in life, everyone is going through their own journey and their own story. And as we saw with the movie Wicked, how we talked in The Wizard of Oz, the witch just appears a couple times as very angry and scary. But then Dan McGuire wrote this book about the Wicked Witch of the West, talking about what she's going on in the background while Dorothy's skipping down the yellow brick road. So I always think of that, even just going through life, that everyone is going through their own story. They all are the main character in their own story. They all have a name. Everyone matters. And even though they might not be playing a big part in my story right now, they matter, and they're playing a big part in someone's story. So just trying to capture that.
I thought it was a beautiful message, and I know for sure that when we get to watch it at the festival, everybody will pick up on that too. I have 2 more questions for you before we close. When this film wins all the awards at our festival and then goes on to win Best Animated Short at the Oscars, when you give your speech, who will you be thanking first? And this is for everybody.
I think first Mike for putting that out into the universe that this would happen, because you, Mike.
Oh, me, Mike. I was like, I don't remember a Mike being mentioned.
Obviously you. Obviously.
Yeah, first person right off the bat would be Mike Cassidy from the...
I'm glad I'm getting recognized for the work I put into this film, But continue.
For me, I I always say my wife, without her, I wouldn't be writing. She was the person who encouraged me. My first play, she directed it and found two of her friends and cast it. So I wouldn't be writing without her. I'd also want to thank producer Gina, because she's one of those people that when I have an idea is very much a how can I make this happen, and does. And then this team, for me, this is my first time directing a project like this. I'm usually the writer. I'm usually on the side. And I believe if you cast and hire and recruit a good team and let them do what they do well, you get a good product and a good outcome, and you get some great ideas and things you didn't even think of. And I'm so lucky to have run into Rob and Giselle and Naja and this crew, Michelle and Daniel, and being able to let everyone do their thing and bring their own creativity and unique specialness to the project.
There you go, making movies with your friends, you know, nothing better. Giselle, would you like to go next?
Yes. The first person I would thank would be Steve. I mean, we met when he says we met on Zoom during COVID. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but to keep it short, I met a lot of writers during COVID searching for stories that made me feel like there was like meaning and purpose in that time. And I kept coming back to Steve's storytelling. So just to be invited to be a part of your project, Steve, and like to be Steve's friend, like Mike, you don't even know, but this is the beginning. It's really has been something so special and has elevated my life in a really meaningful way. So Steve would be first on my list, and then like my mom and my boyfriend.
Yeah, they can wait.
If we had a dog, a dog.
Right? Yeah, Toto.
Yeah,
you can
definitely.
thank Toto. Yeah.
There you go. That's right. But yeah, Steve first for sure for me.
That's awesome. Rob, you want to take us home?
Yeah, I would first and foremost thank Steve and Gina, Steve particularly, because and then right just after that would be Giselle and Naja, because I made the movie the third time, you know, because Steven made it writing it out, and then Giselle and Naja really brought that to life, and I just took those two things and just made a visual out of it essentially. But those two elements together, if I didn't have any of those, I would just the film we submitted would just be a white 3-minute. You know what I mean? And so it's I would thank them first and foremost. And yeah, my wife and kids and all that. But I think those four people initially.
And one thing I'd want to add, if I wasn't played off yet by the music, is how good a teacher Rob is. I know nothing about animation except that I was a fan of it. I liked watching animated movies and cartoons, and grew up with the Nicktoons, Doug and Rugrats, and all of those cartoons, and I love them. And Rob taking us in the process and being so willing and open to explain the process and how things work, and introducing us and welcoming us to this world of animation. I learned so much. I'm so grateful for Rob for being this ambassador as I'm learning for the first time going through this.
I love this. You can feel the love between you guys, you know, like it's just electric. Rob and Giselle, I noticed you weren't going to thank me, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, I figured you were covered already, so.
Right.
Yes, Steven's one. Yeah, that's all. I'm not picky.
If the music hadn't called me off, that would have been right after my kids. So.
Right.
Yeah, we're just here to respect the music.
Your check's in the mail. All right, and so I apologize for having to cut everything off. I had a great time talking with you guys. I'm so excited to see the film and have everybody else get to experience it. My final question for everyone is, will you be able to attend the festival this year in person?
I will be there, yes. I already have my ticket for the block. I grew up right near Asbury Park, so I'm excited to be there, and my parents are coming with me. It's going to be a fun afternoon at Asbury that Saturday.
Where are you from near Asbury?
I grew up in Ocean Township, so right down the road. I lived in Asbury for a year during Hurricane Sandy. It was a fun year. But yeah, I grew up right in that area, so it's nice to be like a homecoming to come back and to where I grew up. That's
awesome. Giselle, will you be able to attend?
Okay, so I'm actually really upset about this because I'm flying out of the country on the 26th. I'm like, of course it's that weekend, but every other part of me will be present with this team. I'm really excited for everyone.
You will be missed for sure. And Rob, will you be able to join us?
So on the 28th, the 27th through the 1st, I'm directing a pilot. So I unfortunately will not be able to come. And I'm generally disappointed because I have attended the Garden State Film Festival with other films that I've worked on, and I loved it. I thought it was terrific. So if anyone who's listening to this is not going to the festival or thought of not going to the festival, please go, because it is genuinely one of the better festivals out there.
And Rob, I know multiple films in the fest you've worked on too. I think you have like in different cities and places.
I do.
It's like Saturday is Rob Graded Day at the Garden State
Yes.
Film
That's a surprise. It is
There are
actually
a couple of
going to
films
be
I
Rob
worked
Day.
on that are actually, I think, might even maybe the same block too.
You will both be missed for sure. Stephen, I'm going to find you and make you answer all my other questions I didn't get to. But yes, once again, thank you for joining me. That is McIntosh. It's being played Saturday, March 28th in block CBR 18 from 12:30 p.m. to 2:15 p.m. Stephen, Rob, Giselle, once again, it was a pleasure speaking with you all. I loved your film, and I can't wait for everybody to get to see it with us.
Thank you,
so
Mike.
much.
Thanks, Mike.
Of course, yeah. Great to meet you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks.
You too. Take
You
care.
too.